Just a disclaimer, everything I'm going to be talking about is based off of my own personal experience and my own life and the experiences I've gained from meeting some beautiful people in the world. And I am not certified in any way to be giving advice on any of this, and I just did my research, so I hope you guys enjoy. Hello, and thanks for watching. I'm Kitty, and I'm the Vice President and Co-Director of Community Relations for the Student Sustainability Council. And today I'll be talking about holistic sustainability and the 8 pillars of wellness. I think it's best to start this video by talking a little bit about myself and how I got into sustainability in the first place. I grew up in a very poor neighborhoods in Southern California, and because of the market crash of 2008, my parents moved us out here to Las Vegas. However, we soon lost the house we first moved into, and in the span of 6 years, we moved to 14 different houses in town, and I went to 4 different high schools, one of them being in Arizona. Due to an unfortunate chain of family events, I moved out when I was 16 years old. I continued to attend high school as an unaccompanied minor and enrolled in UNLV without any reason other than my family kind of told me to. Plus, I genuinely liked school. From an architect major to undeclared to hospitality and to finally business, I had no direction whatsoever, and I possessed countless toxic traits that I learned from growing up in a very hostile environment. Overall, 3 things happened to me that made me finally realize the direction I wanted to take in my life was towards sustainability. First off, I took a required environmental studies course during freshman year, which was very eye-opening for me. Second, I got offered a full-time job while working my part-time job by a regular we had. He was a retired businessman who I worked for 3 years and is still currently my lifetime mentor and friend. And third, I found the Student Sustainability Council 3 years ago. I joined the board as a co-director of sustainability education and soon became the co-director of outreach. I currently hold the vice president position as well as the co-director of community relations position. After my undergraduate, I hope to make a difference in the sustainability within the Las Vegas community and UNLV campus. And I hope to pursue an MBA in corporate sustainability to hopefully be a valuable resource for corporations and businesses who intend on becoming more sustainable by maximizing their triple bottom line. Today, I want to talk about holistic sustainability because I don't see it being any way possible to make a long-term impact on our outside world without first taking care of our own internal demons. Coming from a minority who was dealt a very poor hand growing up, I can honestly say I could never, ever, ever have reached this point of awareness for my environment without first dealing with my inner demons. Holistic sustainability is defined as the science that integrates dimensions of inner and external sustainability for a lasting sustainable future. Holistic, in general, means to provide support that looks at the whole person and not just one need, like your mental health only, and you just stop there. I believe that the best way to reach this type of awareness is by first becoming aware of the 8 pillars of wellness. So during my days of self-loathing and pitying myself and just kind of going with the flow without any real direction, and honestly I had nothing going for me, I worked on my physical health because it just sounded so like logical. I joined the gym. Granted, I only went like 7 times that entire year, but I also did start hiking more, and that was around 2017, and up till today I still kind of do stuff here and there, whether it's just walk up and down my stairs more often. Honestly, I bought roller skates this year just so that I can have some more physical activity, but I think that a really big part of taking care of your physical being is just trying new things all the time. And by kind of having fun with it, like if you don't see working out as being a chore, but something that you enjoy doing, may it be dancing, because I love to dance, or skating, or just walking your dog, like whatever it may be, even just stretch in the morning, like that's physical activity. And that's the bare root of gaining physical wellness for yourself. Nutrition has actually been a very new thing for me. I've been a little bit aware that you should at least always have like carbs, proteins, and fats in all of your food. Like I think I remember them teaching us that in high school and middle school. But it wasn't until recently that I actually started like wondering, like, how many carbs do I eat a day? How much protein do I eat a day? Like, as a Filipino person, most of my meals honestly consist of meat and rice. So that was a really big curve for me, where I had to learn to add more vegetables to my diet in order to kind of gain that nutrition pillar. I think it's incredibly necessary to take into account your nutrition, especially if you're feeling fatigued. If you just feel like your life is falling apart, a really good thing to do is to start working on things you can control, like your physical well-being and your nutritional well-being. So I would say that as an emotional person, I dealt with my emotions, I don't like that word, but dealt with my emotions before I even looked into my physical and my nutrition. Coming from a very traditional Filipino family who still had incredibly third world cultures, it was really hard for me to be able to get out of that situation and see myself as my own person and see my emotions as something that I have but not that I am. But dealing with your emotions and just understanding that they're going to be there without actually having to react to every single one of them has been a really big life changer for me. When I first started, I guess, like dating my boyfriend, we argued all the time because he was so logical and I was so emotional. And I used to think my emotions were a weakness, but now I kind of see them as a weapon that I can use whenever I see fit, whenever I'm acting out, and I just have to kind of like not woo myself, but woo myself into realizing that a situation is not as bad as it is, or even for situations that are as bad as they are, instead I kind of personify my emotions. Like my best friend used to tell me when we'd argue, she would say that her stomach would get hot and her head would get hot too, and I started feeling that too when I was upset. And that was probably one of the first ways I started realizing that my emotions don't have as strong of a hold on me as I thought they did. Every day there's room for improvement, and every day I have started opening up more to the things I feel, and I started wanting to feel things even if they're negative. Because when I first graduated high school, I used to just turn my emotions off when things got hard. And the more I did that, the harder it was to turn them back on. So social is probably my favorite pillar. I spend a good amount of time planning out my life to make sure I spend time with my loved ones. It took me a while to get here, but I try to spend all day Saturdays with my boyfriend. I spend Sundays with my best friend. I see my little brothers and my sister at least once to twice a week. I've kind of been failing because she works late and I like wake up early, but I've been trying to see my mom more and maybe go hiking with her. But when I can't do that, I do call her and we just have like a little conversation. And I just think that personally, my social circle means the world to me, and they're the reason why I do anything. I work so that I have the time later to spend time with my loved ones and my friends and to buy them food and to hang out with them. And I think that being a good person to your social and making time for them is really, really crucial into not falling into like this abyss of working so hard right now. And by the time you realize that you need to spend time with those you care about, it's kind of like it's too late. The relationship was strained and you just don't feel the same way. They don't feel the same way. And it would have just been so much easier if you tried to maintain that now. Even if it's just a little text. Like I text my friends all the time. Like I text them songs, like if like I want them to kind of get on the same wavelength as me, or I text them just, I hope you have a good day, like you deserve the world, you know, like anything. But yeah. So the spiritual pillar, I really don't have much experience in. Even with my own faith, I grew up as Iglesia Ni Cristo, so I didn't agree with a lot of extremities that came with the religion. So I cut them off completely when I turned, I believe, 15. Like I just told my mom, like I refuse to go. Like you can put the clothes on me if you want, but I'm not going. I know, petty, but that's kind of how I felt about it when I actually started listening to what they told me compared to just kind of singing along with all of the cute songs and stuff. But recently I've been trying to learn more about my own spirituality and where I feel like I stand with the world and the universe. And every morning I say, I am grateful, I am faithful, I am confident. Spirituality is commonly viewed as a sense of purpose, direction, or meaning, without which values can slip to the wayside, upending life's balance. Many cultivate their spirituality through meditation, prayer, or other activities that foster a connection to nature or a higher power. Maintaining your spiritual wellness will look different for everyone. Spiritual health is about personalizing your own journey. A good way I would describe it would be compared to if you consume more of the time or if you create more of the time. Most of the time, with our current state of the world, we're constantly consuming. We're watching TV, we're reading books, we're on social media, we're watching YouTube videos, and working off of your intellectual, you have to actually create just as much as you consume, if not more. Whether you write, whether you draw, whether you have a podcast, whether you have a YouTube channel, whether you just exchange ideas between other people. And it's honestly the difference between passive learning and active learning in school. Your financial pillar is what it is. It's how your finances are. I do want to share a quote from my said mentor that I had mentioned in the beginning of this video. I called him the other day because it was his birthday, and crazy, he told me this quote that he found, and I think it really resonated with this pillar. Wealth is a mentality, and with time, your wealth will match your mentality. So I'll let you guys take that quote how you will, and hopefully it resonates with you guys as much as it did with my financial pillar. It is what it is, and your environment is actually a great summation of how your world inside here feels. Like, before I do any homework, I have to make sure my whole desk is clean, or else I get really scatterbrained, and I end up going from one thing to another thing to cleaning something to going back to my homework. And there's just there's a really good reason for all of that. And again, with your environment, like even with sustainability and environmental science, if you can overall take care of your awareness on the inside, you'll be able to become more mindful of what you do to the outside world. Here's a really good example is a couple years back, I went with my mom and my whole family. We went to California and we went to the beach. And it was a really good time. You know, we rode bikes, we hung out, like we took pictures, like it was great. And then while we were getting back in our car, I see my mom and she throws a water bottle outside of my car. I got really upset with her and she didn't really understand why, and all I could say was, throw that water bottle in my car, it's fine. And that was a really big turning point for me, because I realized that I can help teach people things that they don't know of. When I was a kid, my parents used to tell me that I could just throw trash out the window, like it didn't matter, like they didn't care. And as much as I wanted to be kind of petty about that, I was kind of thinking that maybe like no one told them before. So what I started doing was also trying to teach it to my little sisters and my little brothers. And they're the cutest things ever, because recently, I think just this entire year, my little brother and my little sister have been hoarding their plastic water bottles and putting it in the trash can, and then they would call me and tell me when it was ready for me to pick up, because their apartment complex didn't have like a recycling bin and mine did. So I would just take it from their house whenever I'd visit, and then I'd put it in my recycling bin. And I feel like planting those seeds in people are so valuable if you really want to take care of your environment. But again, I don't think I would have even had the energy, the awareness, or the time to be teaching them all that if I didn't first learn it myself, make it as a part of my person, and also deal with all of the craziness that was going on in here, that I actually had the time and energy and resources to deal with everything else around my environment. So sorry for the really long video, but that's my take on holistic sustainability and the 8 pillars of wellness. And if you got this far, I just want to say thank you, and please comment below to let us know which pillars you think are most important to you, where you're at, and if you have any questions for us. We really appreciate it, and we love what we do. And I hope that this video was inspiring to you to know that you're not alone in the hand that you're dealt with. We all have our unique little quirks that make us who we are, and I think that it makes us incredibly beautiful. Thank you. Bye.